Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're going to be taking a look at Light here, one of the best players in the world, going up against Ruin, one of my absolute favorite Protoss players. These guys have a little bit of a history, actually. If you guys recall, like one of Ruin's early standout performances, he did make it into an ASL, and he actually played Light, and he had Light completely dead in a good PvT on Eclipse. And Light did end up coming back in like an absolutely heroic comeback, but really like outplayed Light in the early portions of that game with a Nexus First Forge Fast Expand. Won't forget that one. That's one that I will always think about when I think about Ruin. To be able to show that level of play against Light in ASL is pretty astounding. Anyways, we're on Neo-Dark Origin, so you know this is a map where you get a lot of offensive gases. Rushes very, very common, and yeah, I guess we'll just see how this is going to go down for Ruin. He puts down that forward pylon and probably just gateway offensive gas into attempted Nexus, but we'll see specifically what he goes for. Notice this barracks placement. Okay, so I actually have some ideas about what we're seeing here. Yeah, so normally this barracks you'll see here, or you might see down in this general area to create microing opportunities for zealots. Now, I don't know what day, but a few days ago, I casted a game of Mihu where he put his depots up here and he put his barracks here. Okay, so after that, I actually started trying that a little bit, putting the depots to the side and the barracks here, and you know, there's a few different ideas I was trying to go for, and like, okay, let's see what this is actually all about. Why is Mihu doing this? And now we see Light with something similar, where he's ignoring a lot of SimCity stuff. Like, this is still a little bit of a SimCity, but obviously if there's wow, he gets an SCV. I wish they wouldn't do things like get SCVs when I'm trying to talk deep. But anyways, why is this here? What if zealots are coming? Okay. Now, I don't know 100% yet, but again, I've been testing this a little bit myself and trying to figure out, okay, what are the benefits of this? What is the thought process of this? And, you know, obviously he's getting down here, he's scouting, he's seeing what's going on. Now, if there is a proxy gateway, I think if you have something like this set up, almost certainly you have to make a bunker. Now, something that I've been a little bit critical of pro gamers sometimes, and I know the fans have been very critical of pro gamers, is why the hell don't you make a bunker against some of this stuff? You end up losing multiple SCVs, Marines, stuff like that. Oh my God, 99% he kills it. Oh my God. Oh no. This is terribly flanks with the probe. The probe almost did a great job there. Not quite, though. Anyways, Light will be able to get out of this situation, but that was actually rough for a second. Okay, so people have been very critical about, like, why aren't you making a bunker? You know, and there are some reasons why you don't make a bunker. You actually, if your micro is on point, you actually want them to commit in so that you can kill their stuff, right? If Protoss loses early units and Terran does not, well, it goes both ways, right? Where the game can shift very quickly because of that. Okay, so I think you would have to make a bunker. God, this is getting really long-winded on my ideas of why we're seeing this type of building placement. But I think a big part of it is when you build it over here, okay, the probe can't really harass the SCV that well. When you build it here, the probe harasses the shit out of the SCV. So I think it actually has more to do with preventing the harassment to your workers, which are building buildings. When you align it on the side, like you build a depot here, how does the probe harass this? The SCV sometimes will be off screen, kind of to the top. It'll be over here. You can't really get to it, right? So I think that is actually a place where Terrans lose so many minerals to probe harassment that the SimCity might be evolving, at least people are testing it right now, to minimize probe harassment as opposed to maximize defense against zealots. Bam, we did it. Oh my God, it only took about 5 minutes. Okay, anyways, let's try to take a look at where we're at in this game. The Nexus is up and mining. The command center is up and mining. You see there's a little bit of to and fro with the SCV trying to get some scouting done. A Marine comes over because the Zealot did go into this area, so he's just going to probably hold position. This is probably another step closer just to make sure that you're not going to be able to pop anything over. Looks like right now a Ruin is getting ready for his third Nexus. Throws that down with very excellent timing. He knows that right now Light just doesn't really have a lot of units. I think that this is one of the main things that I feel like Protosses have really been nailing lately in the cast that I've been doing is these third Nexuses that you look at them and you're like, yes, yes. He has so little, right? Let's take a look. Zealot, Dragoon, Dragoon, Zealot. So he has 4 units and he makes a third Nexus. Okay? Look at this. He knows the timing of what's going on. Like, unless you went Marine Medic behind this, he's safe. And in fact, if he goes directly into Reaver, he actually probably would hold against Marine Medic as well. I think it's more likely, yeah, to go 4-gate, though. Just go heavy units here. And as long as your opponent's going mech, you should be in a pretty good spot. Now, Siege Mode is actually on the way. Huh. You know, Siege Mode definitely puts you into kind of a defensive spot. And notice, Light is kind of doing everything at once right now. Okay, he's getting his engineering bay, he's getting comsat stations, and he's getting an armory. Siege Mode, and actually, yeah, he's going for more of a Goliath build. So, very, very, very likely he just goes third base. Probably third factory into third base. But this is kind of reminding me of some of the other TVPs I've looked at recently where it's like, if you get the third Nexus at such a high quality time, the odds of Terran hitting a like 5 or 6 factory push that's going to kill you, very, very low. And I would say, especially in this case, when you're spending money on Goliath range, that basically is the price of a factory. It's not exactly, but it's the same gas as a factory. Gas is almost always the limiting factor to getting these pushes going. But yeah, when you're buying all of that, it's like, yeah, it doesn't seem like you're going to have that timing. Now, that being said, he's adding 2 factories. This still doesn't mean push. I think that 3 to 5 factories into the third command center are good choices here. But look at the gateways being added, right? Right now, it's 2 factory production, and that's going up against 4 gate production. So you're just going to get out-supplied. Look at this, 20 supply advantage, more gates being added. So as long as Ruin just macros cleanly, which of course we expect him to, being a pro gamer, I can't see him taking any damage or any... I can't see him losing to a push. Of course you can take damage to a push. Of course. Okay, so right now the Goliath's kind of standing in an anti-shuttle location. I heard a scan. He was definitely picking off an observer with that. I heard another scan there. Actually, yeah. He scanned the main base and he sees the timing of the Robotech, which is actually, it's hard to catch that, but he saw when this finished. So he has a very good understanding of when speed shuttles will be available. A lot of Dragoons coming across the map right now. And he is actually going to 6 fact. So, now, again, this doesn't, like, normally if you're going to make the command center, it's going to be 5 fact. And I've said this before, but, like, if you go 6 fact, you can turn it into an expansion. When you go 6 fact, you want to attack, though, right? So, Light wants to attack. Will he attack? That's another question. As you move forward, you can change your mind, right? As he moves forward, you know, he might continue to scan and look around. And really, when you look at this, right, there's no 4th Nexus being taken. There's no probes being produced. The unit count is going to start to go really high up. Look at this supply differential. He is up 14 workers, so that's a good chunk of supply. But it's a 20 army supply advantage right now. He does not have Zealot legs yet. He doesn't have a big speed shuttle count yet. In fact, shuttle speed not quite done. But those things are going to come, and they're going to come quickly. So some additional mines going down. He knows that a Reaver counter stab could be very strong here. Love the turret positionings that he has. Very, very good. Light continuing to push out to this general area. Yeah, I don't want to see an attack here from Light. I think that the timing is already gone. Now he's pushing this all back. This, like, he knows he's going to turn around. He's trying to bully the army back, which is, it's a good move, right? And it actually gets Ruin to move a bunch of units over here. What you need to do is get a turret on this side of the bridges. That's kind of the important thing, right? And in fact, he puts that down, but Ruin's waiting. That's why he bullied everything back, was to try to get the army kind of into a position where he might be able to get over the bridges. Because if you can't just attack, move over the bridges. You have to move very carefully over the bridges. But if you have a turret up and you have like a dedicated area that you can rally to, then you can hit your push. By the way, Ruin is getting another Nexus. He's added more gates at this point. So we're on 8 gateways as well as the robo producing. Legs are not ready yet, but speed shuttles are. Oh, careful there. Zealot legs going to be incredibly important. For Light to do this push, he's going to, like, he's right now making 2 tanks, 4 vultures at a time. That's one of the nice things about 6-fact is you can do that. But he's got to be really, really careful. He needs a lot of vultures in here. And there's not a great way for Ruin to clear mass vulture. You know, either a mine drag or possibly like a good reaver shot could kill multiples. But if you keep your vulture count very, very high and they start pumping out a lot of speed zealots to try to hold this, then that can be like a very strong moment for Terran. Like we've seen some games like that from Bishop, for instance, on this channel that you might recall. Okay, so right now the speed shuttles look like they want to go for a backstab. And they're going to fly over this single missile turret super, super easily. This is going to be very dangerous for Light. But don't forget, each of these represent about 10 supply. So there's about 30 supply that was just sent into the main base of Light. So it's like, okay, that's scary for Light, but at the same time, his army that's out here beats this stuff. Now, Ruin actually runs around everything. Still doesn't have Zealot legs, which is kind of insane. Now, finally, they do finish up. He's going to pull this army back, but actually starting to clear some of the tanks in there. Look at this, man. Oh, my God. The Reaver's still alive somehow in there. Ruin is on 4 bases. He's bringing back speed shuttles. Light trying to push over the bridge. Light needs minimum killing this Nexus. Minimum. Ruin running around once again. This is kind of an insane game. Like, Light is super, super, super all in right now. There is no real transition for him. Like, he needs a bunch of damage. And then we can get into, like, a game that goes beyond a 2-base attack. Okay, so he's got a lot of vultures in here. The thing is, Ruin's bringing, like, a third of his army there, and then the rest of it's attacking into the majority of Light's army. I feel like Ruin is definitely making, like, I've seen multiples of his PVTs on this map recently, and I feel like he's making some very questionable decisions with some of his counterattacks. Like, this is kind of strong, and it stops reinforcements. But if he kills this push one time, the game is his. Right? That's the thing that's killing me here, is, like, I feel like the priority should be kill this push. And to have this army run around everything, and what did it do? It damaged this bunker? It's stopping reinforcements. That is something, right? Like, that is an important aspect that you can look at. But, like, he's losing huge amounts of army trying to engage this push that Light's bringing across. All right, comes up into siege mode. He's only got, like, this is not a good supporting cast for the siege tanks. 3 vultures and 3 Goliaths and one SCV making missile turrets. Again, I feel like if he could bring his entire army to bear, this would be very, very easy to clear. Filling up some of these speed shuttles, so he's going to have like 12 zealots to bomb out. A lot of mines in the way that need to be cleared. Is he's just going to straight give up his natural as well. It looks like he's just going to backstab once again. But Light actually has plenty of stuff. So now Ruin is down to like this base mining and his main. Okay, we'll see how this works out for him. If Light pulls all these back really quickly, he can absolutely hold this. Like, only if everything gets stuck is he in trouble. And it doesn't get stuck. He pulls it back, so he's in a good defensive spot. Now the army has to go find something else to do. He already bombed out a ton of his zealots there. So he is going to come back and be able to drop some still. But doesn't have that many. Mostly a Dragoon-based army. Huh. Well, the game is like really in kind of a funny looking spot, isn't it? Both of them are getting so low as far as income goes. If either side loses their army, I think that turns into a game loss extremely, extremely quickly. It's just, you're not going to be able to refill it because both of them are like going to be on one mining base really, really shortly here. Now, Light brings up a startling amount of siege tanks to try to take out this base. This is the last real mining base from Ruin. Other than that, it's just his main, which is going to run out very shortly. He comes up with his shuttles. He's got these Dragoons that are going to walk down into a meat grinder, unfortunately. Dropping some Zealots on top of those siege tanks. Very, very wasteful up there, unfortunately. Gets a Psy Storm off. I actually hadn't realized that he did have Psy Storm at this point, so definitely very helpful. And he is going to have one more, it looks like, right here. But he's going to GG. Light's push continues to come down. Yeah, like, I do feel like, you know, Light decided to go heavily with the push, and he did end up making it work. But honestly, I think that that's misinformation. If you look at the way it was going, like, Ruin did too much fanciness, too much running around, where it's like, if you just kill this army one time, you've got it, right? Especially when we're getting up to 4 base against 2. It all just comes down to breaking the army. The counterattacks, like, I don't think that's the way that you should play it. Okay. Anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed. Pretty amazing win there by Light. Thanks for watching.